This is an 8mm Bell Howell film projector that I got from my wife's grandparents a while ago. I'm going to kind of take it apart a little bit and kind of grease some of the gears and everything else in it because it hasn't really been touched in a couple decades. We've got the electrical cord here for the back of the projector. And on the door, got an extra reel for the pickup. There's also a screwdriver, a little brush inside. Okay, now there's all sorts of little lint nasties that came off the little lint felt pads inside that are now in here, so I'm gonna okay, this thing does need a good cleaning. So we're going to get some alcohol and these little sterile cotton swabs, and we're going to clean a lot of this, especially like this lens. That's definitely pretty gross. We'll get in here, clean inside there, clean front here, clean all the pickups and exits of the film spot. On the top here, there's a little thing for the oil that you would have added to the machine. But over the years now, all the oil has come down here, and this bottom part is all greasy shine to it. I'm not sure what this thing is. No idea. But this is a Filmo Regent 8mm. Doesn't really have a date in it, so don't know. Nothing on the bottom. But what we're going to try and do is take off some of these screws on this back panel to get access to where all this oil's gone down into, and see if we can clean it up. I have no idea what's in here. If there's a belt, I have no idea what to expect. I'm hoping this thing's not belt driven, but could be. Okay, here we go. Screw time. Oh man, that one's covered in grease. This is one of the ones on the bottom. I guess since they're covered in grease, that makes them come out a lot easier. You don't have to worry about them being rusted in. So far, they all look to be the same length so far. We'll see how that goes. If that's the case, then we don't really have to worry about specific location of any of them. I like that. Oh, that dropped out this assembly from the other side. Well, that's interesting how that worked. And that's definitely icky, gunky mess. Oh, look at that. Ugh. I don't know if you can see that, but there's just a mess of grease in there. We're going to have to get some degreaser and really get on that. That's pretty nasty. So, those 4 screws are for that assembly. So far that's a good sign. It means it's all gear driven so far. Let's do the other side then. Yuck. Wipe that off. thing about recording this is if I forget how to put it back together again, I have this to go back to. Alright, just like I thought. That dropped off the other one. And oh, look at that. That's nasty. That's pretty gross. That's pretty gross. So, now comes the big question. Ugh. What's going to happen when we take that other panel off? Are these gears mounted to it? Or are they mounted somehow attached to this top part? That's going to be the $1,000,000 question. Man, look at that gross crud on that thing. Ugh. It's going to take me a bunch of stuff to get that clean. Alright, well, let's go for it. Man, the foam on the bottom of this thing is all rotten, dried hard. Well, that one's the same length as all the rest of them so far. Start over here, next one. Alright, now we're going to be, now's when things start to get a little sketchy. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 screws out of there. Oop, there we go. Oop, that gear fell out of there. Oh, which would have been down here. And that one would have been there. Oh my god, that's disgusting. Oh my god. I'm gonna put this and see, make sure we're getting a good focus on all this. Because I gotta wash my hands here before I touch anything. That is pure nastiness. Pure nastiness. That is gross. Gears looked all be in great shape though. They're just totally disgusting. Not sure what that lever does. Engage. Oh, that's probably the reverse thing or something like that. Okay, an attempt to get these kind of clean without a whole lot of effort. I've already taken off that one and pull them in my ultrasonic cleaner. So I'm going to show you kind of what it does. I'm going to try that one next, and that one. Drop that bad boy in. Haven't done anything to it. Just dropped it in like that. We'll see what happens. I don't know. You don't know. Could be amazing. Could blow up. There we go. This is a solution of water and mixed in a little bit concentrate of Krud Kutter. Disappearing in a cloud. Here's the water after another few more runs. You can see it's gross, nasty, greasy. I'm going to change this again in a little bit. Okay, well, they've been in there for a while. I changed the water out because the water got really cloudy. There's a little bit of hard caked on stuff there still to go, which we'll have to get probably by hand, but I got a lot of it off. But we're going to do the next ones and kind of wipe some of the tough stuff off first and then see how it goes. Here's a little more close-up view of what we got we're working with after stripping it down. I've cleaned out some of the heavy sludge here. Okay, I'm on like day 2, not really a whole day of working on it, but day 2 of working on it. You can see all the gross grease coming out of this thing. I've run a lot of gears through the ultrasonic cleaner. They're coming out pretty good. We're going to keep on going down that route. Okay, to get this off, I had to remove this from the other side here. There's a little set screw in it. Had to remove that, but to get that even off, I had to take another screw off of a part that's hanging right there, which also retains this part back in there, so it's a little tricky. Now maybe we're at the point where we can get this gear off. There we go. That's better. We're going to run this through the cleaner now. And as you can probably see now here, this gets all the gears off now. All the gears are off here. So I'm going to come in here, remove this part right here, the reverse, run and rewind switch. Clean this all out. Clean the lower part here, or this other side off. And we'll put her back together again after having lots of fun, I'm sure, cleaning this. Okay, pretty much done with the first steps. This part would not come out because I could not get these screws out of here. They're seized in there. Screwdriver just kept flipping out of the head. So I had to stay in there. I got underneath with the towel in between to try and get as much of the old stuff out. I'll have to get some new stuff in there, of course, to get that nicely lubricated. I was able to get this part out, though, from the bottom once you popped it up a little bit. And then, of course, this little piece goes in right about there. So now it's a matter of, I've got the gears all kind of cleaned up for the most part. I'm going to put it all back together. This got all cleaned out. Degreased it and everything. There was some really hard caked on old grease in here. There's still maybe a little bit in there. Used a little bit of mineral spirits actually to get in there, kind of break that up. Yeah, for the most part she's ready just to be all greased up and put back together again. Maybe I should get a little bit more in there. There's some old stuff there. Got the grease off the little worm gear here, the old stuff that was really caked in there. We'll get that lubricated real good. Wanted to get this part off, but man, I could not get that screw. Just like these, I could not get this screw to come out right there to be able to separate this and clean this out and re-grease it. Just couldn't get in there. Impossible. There's a little bushing here. I'll have to make sure to get some new grease in there. That's for this gear right here. It's got its own shaft there. That's where we took apart all the other parts on the other side. We'll polish that up nicely, grease it up, put it back in, put everything on the other side back in. But I'm going to probably shoot a short little video here in a moment that shows me using Flitz to kind of polish this up a little bit if possible and get it looking a little nicer. Not that it really needs it, but it'll also make it a little smoother, and the grease should work better on it to keep it a smoother operation of the gears. Okay, working on getting a lot of these gears polished up with the Flitz. This is one that goes over here. You can see it's looking pretty darn good. I didn't put a whole lot of effort in, but a little bit. This one, this is what it looks like after it's been in the ultrasonic cleaner, and I used the Flitz on it to kind of polish it up. And you'll see that it looks kind of bad around these edges because the grease was reacting with what looks like this is a bronze maybe gear, whereas all the rest of them are steel. This one definitely has a goldish color to it, more like a bronze or something like that, or brass gear I should say. Then you flip it over and this is what it looks like without having done anything to it, and it will probably look like this when I'm done. I might be able to go over with this some more and get some more of this etching from the grease out of there, but it may not come back very good. So I'm going to do this side next and I'll show you what that looks like when I'm done. Okay, I use one of these sticks to kind of goop it on. Well, this is one of my long cotton swaps. And I goop it on there pretty good. Let it sit for a little bit, and then I'll use this tougher paper type towel, shop towel sort of thing to polish it up. Okay, I'm gonna proceed with this. Alright, well it didn't get as clean as the other side. Maybe it could use some more. I mean, it did pretty good. Maybe I'm giving up too soon here. It's getting there. I'm starting to break through some of it. Just need to do a little bit more on it. Yeah, I'm definitely getting through right in there. Let's kind of rinse some of this off here. Yeah, we're breaking through it. Maybe even do the other side some more, so we can get it even better. Alright, give you a shot of this one too. This is another big gear. This one goes, I think it's this one right here. Just a little grody. This one should come out pretty good. So there's that last one after. You can see that one looks much better. Okay. Got her pretty much put back together again here and greased up, ready to go. Just now to put this part back on there. Grease between all the teeth, put a spun them, got grease on there, put grease underneath the gears, put grease on any of the spindles or the points that it rotates on. Also put grease on top because they can potentially rub against all these rings here. So also put a little bit of grease on there to get those nice and hopefully fairly friction free. And then all these gears here are on a little kind of carrier that moves when you do this, which engages the rewind function. Whoops, doing that the wrong way. That way, see that moves. So that engages or disengages the gears that are in these other sections. So this also, the strip that does that movement also gets a little bit of grease underneath it and the grease on the pivot points. But should be ready to go. Pretty good. Grease that up as well. That worm gear there. With this gear on here, you can't actually really turn these because you have so much resistance from the motor gearing back here in its transfer case. So I left this gear off until the last because with it not on there, cogged onto there, you can spin these and make sure they're all spinning nice and free. And they were spinning really nice. Very little resistance. And then I've attached that one on there, and she's ready to go. So I'm going to put this cover on now. Okay. Got her all cleaned up. That one, could not get this section off, could not get that one off easily. Could take the tip off here, but that only got access to the spring. I'm not really sure how they exactly intended you to get in there, but that screw or whatever that is there to that gear, I cannot get off. So I cleaned it as best I could and greased her up. Same thing with this one. That one's on there magically somehow. But cleaned smaller gears up, greased them down. They're ready to go back on now. So let's do it. This might come back to bite me in the butt, but this is a slipper, so that the gear doesn't strip out. It can spin freely, and I've greased that up, so hopefully that won't cause it to slip too much. This could come back to bite me big time. Here it is all back together, fully functional. I'll add some stuff that I did to it that I didn't record. Put the lens back in, of course, after cleaning it. That was, that backside, front side. Then additional thing is this one. Get that nice and clean. And then probably come in here and do a little cleaning on the screen and everything there too. Make sure there's junk out of the way and everything for the light coming through. And then on here I also took out this little piece. If I can get it now. Oh, there we go, it just slides out, but I was tilting it. This tiny little piece, when you put it back in, make sure you got the slot for the little hook that pulls down each frame towards the outside. And then there's little clips actually in there that hold it in place. That they'll go on top, one on this side and one on this side, to hold this in place. I had to actually remove this little cover here, these two screws. Then there was two more screws you had to access go by going through the hole where the lens was to get that little clip out and bend the clip back in place, because it actually wasn't keeping pressure on this top side here, which is definitely a problem. Won't hold your film up against the hole properly. It'll be kind of out of focus then, probably too. You have top of your image out of focus, or and the bottom in focus, or vice versa, depending on how the film sits in there and how you've adjusted the lens. And then of course come in through all these, clean these out, clean all the sides around this plate, because a lot of stuff could be trapped in here and you don't want it to get grabbed by the film as it's being fed in and then get on your film or get in your lens. So make sure that's all clean as well. And yeah, I think that was about it. Put her back in here. And that takes care of it. And if you haven't, there's another video out there from another gentleman that kind of shows you how to feed it through and everything, so I'm not going to go through that. It looks like right here I should have done maybe a little cleaning right here on the little lever that moves everything in place. And actually, oh man, there's some more I'm seeing right there on top. So yeah, a lot of little nooks and crannies to get this really clean. And I've fired it up and tested it. She works good. We'll turn her on right now. Get an idea. Engage the clutch. You can see it actually gets a lot quieter when you actually engage it for some reason. I don't know what it's doing is different. And we got the big knob over here to adjust the speed. Really get her going. Oh, one other thing I did clean was the back side, the little reflector here for the light. Also took that out and cleaned that up nicely. And there's just a little fuzz all over the place. So yeah, it's all good. And I tell you what, this really stunk when I got going, burning off all the dust, because I did not clean inside here because I was just too afraid to touch that bulb since it's so whole and have it burn out, and I didn't want to go have to chase down another one, or at least not right now. I don't. I have some films, old films I'm trying to go through and get posted up on the channel as well. So thank you. Thanks for watching. Hope you learned a little bit. If you didn't, oh well, you wasted a lot of time. You'll never get back. Haha.